I didn't get a chance to tell Bill to talk, speak louder.
Okay, I'll tell him.
There. What do you say?
So glad everybody would be.
How's everybody doing?
Yep.
Thank you, Melissa.
Take care of it.
No, no, shut the door, please. Please.
Call the second meeting to order. The first thing on is,
You need to close the first one first.
I close the first board meeting at 6:20. Open the new one at 6:20. First item will be the resolution abolishing positions of part-time police chief officer and temporary on-call typist, non-competitive position. I need a roll call vote on that.
I'll make a motion to eliminate the two positions. Put that form of a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussions?
Mayor Baker, would you like me to read it?
I gotta read it?
Go ahead.
Would you like me to do so?
Go ahead.
Whereas the resolution, whereas the Village of Rouses Point has determined that for reasons of economy and efficiency, it is necessary to abolish two non-competitive positions in the classified civil services. And now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby abolishes the following non-competitive civil service positions effective May 31st, 2012. Temporary on-call part-time typist in the village office, non-competitive, Jerry Favreau. Permanent part-time police chief, non-competitive, Michael Bingo. Be it further resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to take such additional action as is necessary to implement this resolution so as to comply with the civil service law, rules, and regulations of the Civil Service Commission of the County of Clinton, polices of the Village of Rouses Point, and terms and conditions of existing negotiated agreements. This resolution shall take effect immediately. The question of the foregoing was duly put to a roll call vote, which resulted as follows.
I'll vote aye.
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 I'm going to abstain.
And the mayor votes aye. Next one. Resolution abolishing the position of on-call laborer.
All the same, and this one is just for a temporary on-call part-time laborer. The laborer is Cody Roberts.
Okay,
Go ahead and vote.
I'll make a motion to eliminate the position.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? Any no discussion? Roll call vote.
Aye.
Brad?
Aye.
No?
Aye.
I'm abstaining from this vote also.
Okay, the mayor votes aye. Okay, we know one more. The discussion of the NIPA meeting.
Tomorrow, Bill Maskell and I are going to Syracuse. The meeting is Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. And if the board chooses and designates me as the accredited delegate, I'll be the representing the village during the meeting.
we have to go to this. If we don't keep up, first thing we'll know, it'll be like Plattsburgh. So,
Make a motion to have Brian Jefferson be the delegate for NYMPA.
I'll second it.
second it. Any discussion? No discussion, roll call, you decide about it.
Roll call on this.
Oh, roll call, yeah, that's right, I'm sorry.
Trustee Jefferson, aye.
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. Discussion, the last one.
Just to read the resolution.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're right, sorry, no.
I'll read that resolution. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point, New York is a municipal member of the New York Municipal Power Agency, and whereas in accordance with the bylaws of the New York Municipal Power Agency, each municipal member may cast one vote on each transaction properly brought before this meeting. Now therefore be it resolved that Brian B. Jefferson be, as is hereby designated as the accredited delegate of the Village of Rouses Point, New York. This resolution shall take effect immediately. The question of the foregoing was duly put to a roll call vote, which resulted as follows, which I voted on. I certify that this resolution was adopted by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point, New York on the 14th day of May 2012.
We did, already.
We did it.
Yeah. Okay, that's it, isn't
Now, the last item was the.
it? Yeah, discussion and motion to hire an engineer for the review of Lighthouse Point Marina project. We're gonna have Dominique recommend that we have the lawyer, an engineer look at our engineers' plans and stuff, and DEC, so the DEC will settle, and what else got us, all, the OGS and all them gotta be able to settle. The county planning board has turned it down due to lack of information, so you gotta hire, he's gotta pay for the engineer, not us. So, just let that out for information. And that's all I have for tonight.
So you're not gonna rescind the vote to hire an engineer then?
No,
Okay. But the only thing is that, you know, as you know, I'm on the planning board.
yeah.
I thought it was a fair call. But if we received back that the county voted absolutely no, 8 people voted no on that. And then the letter that we received from the DEC, apparently, if I don't, you know, the lawyer has to interpret everything, but it looks to me they're not very happy with this project either. So,
Actually, for my thing of what the DEC said was that you gotta remove his toilets, he can't have them out there anymore.
you know, he doesn't
The
want them to
shower.
fill, but he doesn't want them to fill in between the piers or anything, but it looks at the letter there. But nevertheless, I feel that the DEC is gonna have to make the last call on this anyway.
Definitely.
But the only thing is, I thought it was fair on the planning board to ask for some help on this.
No matter what we do, DEC and the Corps of Engineers got the last say on it anyways.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. There's nothing else, we'll adjourn the meeting.
Public.
No comments?
I have a question.
I'm sorry.
Francis Dundee, Smith Street, Rouses Point.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what and when something is gonna be done about the hole at the Anchorage Hotel. Topic number 1.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's gotta close that up. Gotta close that damn hole.
Topic number 2 is the mess on Champlain Street from the fire. I mean,
Yes.
the village got on a case when the Holland Hotel burned down, and that was all filled in and taken care of. Here's 2 instances that have been hanging around for an unknown period of time.
You're right.
The third question is the mess at the Saxony Hotel. The zoning board says that if there are more than 3 unlicensed vehicles on a property, it's a junkyard. That man does not have a junkyard license, and there are more than 3 unlicensed vehicles on that property. When is something going to be done about the mess? You're trying to improve the situation of the village, and here you've got 3 messes for tourists to look at when they come into the village.
Can I talk about the Sunoco, Mayor Baker?
Yeah.
We got a letter from his insurance company saying that they were delaying in processing the claim, so they asked us for a little bit more time. So
How much more though?
Well,
Yeah.
A little bit can drag on like it has been with the Anchorage.
well, it looks
exactly.
terrible. And the Anchorage looks terrible too.
Yeah.
We told them we wanted to fill it in. We wanna bring up, you know, I mean, just bring an end to this.
Well, you've told him that you would like him to. Why don't you do like they were going to do with the Holland? The village fill it in and put it on his taxes.
And the motel is not being maintained well either.
Yeah.
We have social services, welfare in there.
It's all full of welfare.
Looks awful.
I mean, and we're trying to improve our village.
Yeah.
This is not improving our village, we're
It's
bringing
not.
bad element in.
I agree with
I
Mrs.
agree
Holmes.
with you very much.
People will not stay at the Anchorage Motel Village.
No, I would
They
not
come to
recommend
visit in
it.
Rouses Point and they stay in Plattsburgh.
Plattsburgh, yep, everybody gotta run to Plattsburgh,
And you want to improve this village.
Yeah.
It's going downhill.
We gotta get rid of
By
it.
the next meeting, we'll have an answer for you from Mr. Tate.
Thank you.
Yep. Yep, we're gonna get it moving one way or another. In fact, I was after him last week about
Hoping to rebuild on that site.
Huh?
You had plans, but you gotta have some money. And I don't think they have the money to do it.
Off the Anchorage?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought they were.
The man that owns the Anchorage was here a year ago with his architect, and they had plans of what they were gonna do then, and since then, nothing has been done.
He's not been able to get funding, he's been trying.
Yeah.
You've been
Well,
trying.
then the hole should be filled in.
We wanted to borrow $400,000 from the Rouses Point Investment Club, but we declined the offer.
This is at least his second fire that I know of, I've heard of 3.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really wanna discuss that, Mrs. Hall. With the-
I understand.
With the tape recorder going to, and
How about the other motel that is a disaster? What's happening with that one?
been sold.
They just sold it. I don't remember.
Are there any plans afoot for it, or you know nothing, or what?
I heard he was wanted to build little cabins and keep them open year round.
I heard condos.
That's a rumor too, and yeah, I heard the condos, I don't really know. I don't even know who bought it.
Somebody told me, but
I didn't
Mossy,
hear.
wasn't it?
Yes.
Who?
I think it was a Mossy fellow.
Vance Mossy.
Oh, Vance Mossy, that's who it was, yes. Yeah.
So really, we have 4 bad eyesights as we
Yeah.
come into town.
yeah,
And that's not gonna help us improving our village.
No, you're exactly right. Exactly.
One more thing, there's a piece of property being sold on Lake Street for bid,
Oh,
across from, well, auction, across from Mrs. Broadwell's house. And the auction price on it so far, I believe, is $11,000 for that piece of property. 11,500? And there's sounds that supposedly they have a building permit that they can actually fill in and build a house there on that property.
There's a foundation underneath the water.
Really?
Yeah.
think it was big enough.
I don't think
Me
the lot
either.
is
There was a house there before, I know,
Said it's 120
because
feet.
Conrad next door used to sit on the second floor and fish out the window. So I know it's been there in the past.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, the foundation is still under the water.
Mhm.
I don't think the lot's big enough.
Well, supposedly there was approval on it with that, to restore that foundation and build on it. So I was just curious what, if anything, anybody knows about it.
I know absolutely nothing about it.
Nothing, but if it goes to auction, anything becomes null and void, and they have to start back over and go back to the DEC to bring back and fill.
Yeah.
So they have to go back through the permit process.
Whoever buys
Okay,
that.
I was just curious, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, they would have to, do
I hear and I don't know anything.
yeah. All right, we'll look into the Saxony and the Anchorage. Get and go wherever you go, that mess up there.
When I was a youngster, like in the 30s, we had a nice place to swim right across from St. Patrick's Church.
Yeah.
And we were right on a lake, and there was no place for the children to swim. We done it.
There is a spot that's just over on the other side of John Bird Street before you get to Sportsman's Pier. There is a spot that's right there. That is village property and it's decent little sandy section, you can go right there, and go swimming.
That is
Just what-
public beach?
That is public, that is not so much of a public beach, but it is public land, and if you wanted to go swimming there, I don't see why you couldn't.
You have to climb over the rocks.
We needed the rock.
I know.
If there's a path, there's no path.
Yeah, we put sand, a few loads of sand in there, and cleaned up, and that's how you get to the beach.
We're looking at a couple options. It is our intent to try to bring back a village beach.
That's, people do use that.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yes.
That's where I learned how to swim.
It's nice and sandy in there.
Yeah, we're looking at several options. Well, there's two options that I know.
It's a nice little spot there.
Jimmy?
Yeah, I got a question for you. I'm looking on doing some stuff in the village here, and my question to you guys on the board is, what do you foresee in the next 2 years, next year or two, with this Wyeth or Pfizer closing their doors, and what will happen with the increase of water and sewer? Is there gonna be something to where that is put onto the taxpayers, or is that gonna be funded by some grant to offset that? Because that's a big concern of mine about coming in.
We're trying right now, Timmy, to sell, not like we got a meeting tomorrow, Wednesday night. We're trying to sell water to Champlain. And if that goes, then hopefully we can hold our own right now where it's at, but that's no promise either.
What would hold that up? If, I know if you're trying to sell water to Champlain, what would hold that up? Because I talked to a couple of people and they said, well, it's a matter of paying for the pipe, the digging, who's paying for this, how much water can you sell?
John and them are looking to write a grant for the whole job up through Route 11.
Okay,
They're looking to, down Champlain's gonna write the grant for that, for the materials,
Yeah.
whatever else it costs, you know. That's the best I can tell you right now. Because we gotta meet with an engineer Wednesday night to finish up some other stuff on that project. So, I know more after Wednesday night.
It's all right still in the planning stage, even if
Yeah.
it does get somewhat
Should be
finalized,
2 or
it's
3
still gonna
years.
take a few years to get everything implemented and everything set up, going up to Champlain.
Yeah,
That is still a few years down the road.
yeah. But if they get their grant in, then I'll spend some. They get in that clean water in there.
Can we ask that people don't talk right now?
Gentlemen,
Can we ask that, there's too many conversations going on, can we just stick to the subject? Please, no sidebar conversations, please.
All right. Anybody got anything else? Not, we'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
okay, I was just gonna say one thing. That
Okay.
there's a lot of things on our plate, the mayor's plate, and we're not getting results immediately, but we're diligent, we're gonna keep this process going. And with your help, we're gonna try to do the best we can to keep you informed of what's going on, but there are a lot of things going on. The water, the disastrous property situations over here, the beach, several things. But I just wanna let you know that we're working hard. Things don't move as fast as we want, but we're gonna get there eventually. So once the mayor gets settled, we're gonna do the grievance. You're gonna set that up, and you'll start noticing announcements in your electric bill about some of the things that we've accomplished or what we're working on right now, just to give you a heads up ahead of time. So we're on it.
We did hire 2 people for the water plant also.
Yes, we did.
Gary Malinsky, the chief water plant operator, is retiring. Mike Riley is a very experienced water plant operator, he's retiring also. So we have hired 2 people, they live in the village. We kept the jobs here in the village. So we have made some progress, and, I mean, we actually need an administrator here in the village. To be quite honest with you, it's way too much work for people that are working part-time. I mean, you can't tell you the hours that we've been putting in. So, well, I mean,
They opened our mouth for the job.
Brian, I got another question for you then, Brian.
Okay, Tim.
What's the vision then? What are you guys heading now for the Village of Rouses Point? What do you foresee in the next 2 years or 5 years down the road for the Village of Rouses Point?
Well,
Financial stability is one thing I'm going for, keeping everything somewhat where we need to be, so we can keep our people here.
I don't know. Tim, I'd like to be able to look at a crystal ball and tell you what's gonna happen. Why, our Pfizer might be here in 3 years, but it probably won't.
Yeah, well, that poses another question. Why wasn't that taken care of back in 2005, 2006 when that did happen? Why, when they announced it, why didn't the Village of Rouses Point, because we had to as a business, we're just up the street,
I know, yeah.
and we had to change our whole business outlook on how we looked at business. We took them out of the brain, and we lost close to $200,000 in rent revenue from them, which is fine. I'm still living, we're still doing business. The thing is that back then, did the village think of that, or did they think about moving in a different direction with them saying, hey, we're closing?
Phil Bohornwell was on the board at the time, and I said to Phil, I've got my red pen and sharp knives out. I said, let's start cutting the budget. No, he says, let's not overreact, and, you know, it's not gonna be as bad as we think, and that was the perception, that wasn't gonna be as bad as we think. It's worse than we think.
Worse than you think. All right.
Joe? Brian, have you, I know it's probably nobody has or whatever, but, if Wyeth property goes up for sale, do you think they would sell that, parts of that separate, or would the whole thing have to go?
I think he said we got it up for 11 different pieces, right?
If there's 11 different pieces that they're looking at, they've got it sectioned off into warehousing, laboratory, offices, manufacturing, research and development.
Okay.
So they're gonna try to set it up something like, when Harris went, they're gonna try to get someone in there.
Because I know some people that may be interested in parts of it, but not all of it, so that's why I was wondering.
The big thing is, when you produce medicine in a location, you cannot bring food in, so it's cross-contamination. So it limits the scope of the type of business that can come in.
Right.
So, I mean, so I don't know what's really gonna happen, to be honest with you.
That's fine.
Well, quite familiar with Wyeth. The boiler house controls the heat for all the buildings.
Sure.
And the air conditioning. So to sell off a piece, like say a warehouse, they would have to make some major changes to cut off that warehouse. And incidentally, I've been after this village board for over 2 years to find out about the water and the sewer with Pfizer, and nothing was done. And now I know the rates are gonna be without Wyeth, and it's not very, I'm not gonna tell, but it's not very close.
Well, I'd like to know.
You like to know?
No, seriously, I'd like to know, because if I've been being told it's $50 a month, what's it gonna jump?
Double.
Double.
It's gonna be double.
Double.
How about the electric? It doesn't matter, the electric's not a problem, right?
The electric will probably go down because we will not exceed our allocation and have to go, the hydro allocation is a certain amount. When
Okay,
it gets real hot or it gets real cold and the demand increases, then we buy power on the spot market. And it's like buying power from NICEC. You know the rates in NICEC?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it raises it up a lot. So if you don't exceed the hydro allotment, we would not go into the spot market price. So the electricity probably is not gonna change. It probably will go down a little bit, but.
That's not true.
No.
What you have to do is, when I was president of the MUA, the New York Power Authority said, power for jobs. So if we lose the power of the jobs for Wyeth, we'll lose the hydro allocation will be distributed to another part of the state. We'll lose that hydro.
We won't lose all our hydropower.
No,
Oh, okay, because
the
you said,
portion of that hydropower we allocated for power for jobs, we'll lose that.
well, the jobs aren't
The
here.
only
so-
way you can get it back, you sell that piece of property and have jobs there. So you gotta be careful on that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
I'm worried more about the water and sewer than I am.
I am too. But I'm just saying, matter of fact, when you go to the NUA meeting, You asked that question, is the power for Johnson still there? I'm sure it is, okay? Because, Mayor, if you recall, General Motors in Messina, they closed down, they lost that power. They got it, General Motors got it back up, they got the power back. Okay?
Yep.
That's all I have.
Anybody else got anything? Okay, if not, need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion, vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Appreciate you.
Don't anybody talk to you from, Thursday? And our number?
He also got the front building
We can do something. No, that's why I've been coming into the building. Oh, that's good.
He's at asking for a wire from the warehousing part.
Bill, what's up?
What's my name?
What are you gonna do,
I'm just saying, if it ever does, we should have a back again. It's rural water with the fish back. Once it's all connected, I would like to have